How's it going?
Everything's good, man. Chilling. Just doing press for this crazy movie. Did Rich Eisen yesterday. Did the talk this morning. I'm just grinding, bro.
I've seen you everywhere, man. GMA, Kelly Clarkson, you've been all over the damn place.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's definitely it. This part of it can be, a little tiresome. It's just like on the body, catching flights, doing all that type stuff. But it's part of it, man. You got to sell the movie too, and I do a pretty good job selling.
No, that's for damn sure. I mean, getting to walk in with Cocaine Bear as the product that you're peddling to, pretty decent sales job to be on the other side of for sure.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird having like daytime news and like daytime shows talk about cocaine so openly. It's just like I got Roker talking to me. So, Cocaine Bear, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
It does. It's so different because I feel like because we're right about the same age, and I feel like growing up, all of that stuff in the middle of the day, it just didn't get touched. It was daytime soap operas and Sports Center. Like we didn't get to hear all that. So yeah, you leading the charge on that's like cussing in front of your grandparents for the first time. It just feels
exactly
wrong.
Yeah. It's that same feeling of yep, that's what I'm here for. When I did I was doing Kenobi, and I'm on there. It's Disney, Star Wars, and best job I ever had. And I'm kicking it with Ewan McGregor, and it's like in my mind, I'm like, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's like, yeah. So Shay, what are you doing next? And I'm like, Cocaine Bear, and he's like, when Obi-Wan Kenobi looks at you and goes, oh, that sounds like fun. It's like, but yeah, everybody gets a kick out of that title, dude. And when they hear it's based on a true story, it's like, oh, dude, you have to do that movie.
Oh, hook, line, and sinker. Listen, as someone who now has to introduce themselves as a podcaster, I understand it feels a little strange to put some titles in front of people when you're bringing that out in public. It's like, no, I swear, like I don't live in my folks' basement. This is a paid gig now. We're good. No, man. So it is interesting too because now I feel like at this point we've seen pretty publicized tweeting this movie into existence, which, man, what a hero for all the rest of us who are staying on that hell site until its absolute dying day, that good things can come from Twitter. So you tweet about the movie. Elizabeth Banks, who's directing the movie, sees the tweet and you guys connect. So from seeing and reading about it on Twitter to when you first get that script in front of you, what was that first read through like when all of a sudden you see, all right, this is what Cocaine Bear is about to sound like?
I was happy that the bear is actually showcased as much as it is. It's like it's the elephant in the room. Like, people are what you're here to see. And we don't waste any time in getting right to it. And I love that. We don't I'm a fan of all type of creature movies, and part of, just like creature movie etiquette is you kind of tease a little bit. When are we getting to Jaws, bro? Where's Jaws at? You told me Jaws was gonna be here. And right off the jump, you guys are in for a ride with Koki. She is a problem in every sense of the word. And the first time I saw it was at the premiere. So to see, what you read come to light is always fun. It's always, it always is a butterflies, goosebumps type feeling. And so, man, it's exactly what I read. All right.
It's like, no, this bear is on a shit ton of cocaine. Yes, check.
Yeah.
Check.
100%.
What, like, because I saw how you guys filmed it too, so it's obviously a CGI bear, and spoiler alert for everybody, not a real bear hopped up on cocaine, but you guys had a dude on set who basically had to play the part of the bear. So how is it interacting with this guy that is supposed to be on a cocaine fueled murder rage when he's not actually a bear.
Yeah, it's a big New Zealand dude. It's a big New Zealand dude named Alan Henry, who's from Planet of the Apes. He did Lord of the Rings work, so he gets in it. He's the real deal. Super cool dude. I really love laughing with people off camera. Great sense of humor. I feel like great morale makes great movies. So you're going to be with somebody for 2-3 months. You want to get along. And Alan was just so cool, but at the same time, it's this big ass dude in black spandex coming at you. It's some fear in your heart. It's gonna be there. And they had him on these like stilts for him to crawl on all fours, which is great for the lower back. But he's crawling on all fours all day, and he has this like apparatus where like we would see the bear's snout and its eyes. So they use that for like mapping out on the computer, and just so they can measure the mass of a real bear. But it's cool. It's cool to have that. It's cool to have some the closest thing to a practical effect as we can have, because in stuff like King of the Monsters, nothing is there. I remember that was the worst part. Is as a Godzilla fan, I was so excited to be in King of the Monsters, and I remember my first day driving the set thinking, I'm never gonna see Godzilla, like the entire time. Like I'm gonna have to wait a year and a half before I even see a rendering of Godzilla. This is just gonna be a bunch of people playing pretend for money. That's all this is about to be right now. And so, like, the Star Wars thing, we had at least a practical set. Obviously we worked in the volume when we could, but like, some of those creatures in Star Wars are actually there. Like I see them, like they're moving. Like, so it's great when you can work with practical effects. The closest thing we could get to a black bear in Ireland was Alan Henry. Love that dude. He's a beast, literally and figuratively.
Just to be clear, Alan Henry didn't go full method acting and actually eat a bag of cocaine.
I can't speak on his personal life, but he seemed legit. He seemed okay. He held a conversation real smooth. But no, yeah, super professional dude. Yeah, if you've seen Planet of the Apes, a couple of ogres or orcs, I mean, in Lord of the Rings, that's probably Alan.
Damn. All right. I say high stakes acting in some big roles there, no doubt. For anyone that's kind of into these genres of film, I do want to talk about your other co-stars on this film, because it seemed like, and especially watching you guys do the press tour with Alden, with Carrie, it seemed like you guys all got along really well. Alden Enrique, Carrie Russell, your co-stars in this film. You mentioned having to work with the bear, but what is it like with them on set? What was it like working with them for what I'd imagine was the first time for you guys?
Yeah. Alden's the shit. Me and him, we got along very well just from the jump. Super cool dude. Really takes his job seriously. He's one of the people that I've worked with that is, as far as in the field, the dude is inspiring to me. He takes his job so seriously. He watches all forms of acting. If he can, he'll run out to a play, to just see performances. And he's a book reader. That's weird, but like he's a cool dude. I get on him for that all the time. Damn book reader. But yeah, me and him clicked. Who we play in the movie, David and Eddie, we are two best friends who kind of had a falling out. His father is actually played by Ray Liotta, and we worked for him. So it's we're going through our own personal battle. We have a mini movie inside the movie, and so if you want to, like I said before, you want to get along with who you're working with, and it comes off on screen when you guys have that type of chemistry. Yeah, all that's the shit. Carrie Russell, that was just cool to work with Carrie Russell. I was like, she's just super nice. Elizabeth is super nice. But yeah, it was a great time. Funny story about me and Alden. I auditioned for the Han Solo movie to be Lando Calrissian, and that was the first time I met Alden. And actually, the guys who produced Cocaine Bear were the original directors for the Solo movie, so they were in the room when I was auditioning, and I didn't get the part, and I ain't watched that movie. I ain't watched that piece of shit. I don't care. And I was bitter. I'm still bitter. I'm still salty, but I got into Star Wars anyway. So, Nana Boo Boo, stick your head in doo doo. I got to be Roken. And yeah, I let them know about themselves. And, timeline wise, Roken could run into Han Solo. And I'm going to tell him about himself then, too. So, there's that. I work with him
listen,
anyway.
man. You gotta have that edge to you about this stuff. So I always felt like kindred spirits here, but this just confirmed it because I remember when I was going through all these NFL training camps and no one signed me. I grew up an Eagles fan, but after I went through and they were one of the teams that either didn't sign or cut me, I said, all right, bleep you guys. I'm team agnostic now. I'll root for my friends that are playing here, but none of the rest of y'all get this full time anymore because this was bullshit. So I absolutely support being that petty when it comes to people that mess around and don't give you the job that you deserve. I feel that.
Exactly. And I was so sure of that audition too. They called me back like 3 times. I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. And yeah, so I'm petty. I don't care. I'm Petty Murphy. I'm Petty Roosevelt. I'm Petty Guerrero. I don't care, bro. They can have it.
You know what? And we'll follow you on to that one. I haven't seen that one and now won't officially boycotting it. Anyone listening to this podcast, we're boycotting this for O'Shea and making sure until justice is served, we're not going to see that.
So, at the premiere yesterday, or the day before, I hugged Alden. I said, hey, man, I want you to know I love you and I'll watch Solo. And he said, you don't have to. And I said, I'm going to do it, dude.
I waited all this time, but this is when I show you how real this bond is. Oh my God.
Man, we in there, bro. That's my brother.
That's awesome, man. How was the premiere, by the way? How was getting to see the finished product, getting to see other people see the finished product? That had to be pretty damn cool. I'd imagine those are always really gratifying.
Yeah, they're a little nerve wracking. Because everybody else watches movies before the premiere. Like they have either a screening or somebody sends it to them. But I like it the old school way. I like to watch with the crowd first time, have those butterflies. So yeah, it was my first time seeing it with everybody else. And it was some moments in there where I was like, I cannot believe we are getting away with this. And like this is like Universal Studios. Like this is nuts. And yeah, it was a great time. Had my brothers there. My sister-in-law was there. My girlfriend came, obviously, because like she doesn't want to have an argument if she didn't come. And then I was super supportive. Everybody came out for me. I had my best friend. I invited CM Punk. CM Punk came.
Damn.
Like, I know.
Wait, to be clear, do you like know CM Punk like that, or was that just like, hey, I got tickets for you if you want?
Yeah, like we connected probably maybe almost 2 years ago just on Twitter, and he was like, he told me he was big fan of me, big fan of my dad, and I was like, let's just exchange numbers just in case like there's an Ice Cube show or something down the road, I can hook you up. And it's hard not to talk wrestling when you got CM Punk's number every now and then. But yeah, my man Phil, he hit me up. He was like, dude, you're in Cocaine Bear? And I was like, yeah, the premiere is like in 3 days. He was like, oh man, that's so cool. And I was like, no, I'm gonna write you down. I'm gonna get you a +1. And he was like, oh, you don't have to do that, dude. I don't want to, he was just like, he's super humble about it. He was like, no, I'm not trying to, that's not why I hit you for it. And I was like, bro, listen, we're boys. You can come see it. It was whatever. And I gave him an invitation. You never know. Then I go to say hi to my brother. CM Punk is sitting next to my best friend. I'm like, yo, thank you for coming. He was like, you invited me. I was like, that's true too.
Man, the whole Cocaine Bear experience for you is just a prime example of shoot or shoot. Like you shoot your shot and good things happen.
Exactly, bro. Shout out to Phil Brooks, man.
That's incredible. All right, you know what? That's also good to know too, because with DraftKings connection, WrestleMania is coming up in LA pretty soon
Yeah.
here. I actually might be going. It'd be my first time being at a wrestling event, so I need some pointers. So I might lean on you. I don't know if you're going. I don't know like what, but I need someone to show me the ropes here.
Listen, man, I will be there. I will be at SoFi. I love going to wrestling events, dude. Like, since I was a kid, I've been to. This will be my third WrestleMania. I went to the one in LA. I think it was 22. I went to 22 or 21 in LA, and then I went to 32 in Dallas. The one, real quick. In Dallas, I had like, this is like straight out of Compton, had just came out, and I'm feeling good. I got my first like check as a working man, and it's like the ultimate. I had the ultimate guys weekend. I went with my boys. I flew, I flew them out. I was like, bro, we're going to Texas, and we're about to light Texas up. Saturday, we were in Houston. We went to the Villanova versus UNC national championship. Yeah,
Oh
right.
shit.
Oh, that ended on that buzzer beater. It was insane. And then the next day we went to Dallas to go to WrestleMania 32. I haven't had that much fun in a weekend, bro. Ever. And yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was my second WrestleMania. It was in Dallas. Stone Cold and Heartbreak Kid came out. They're Texas boys, so the Jerry World was going crazy. But yeah, there's nothing like a rowdy wrestling crowd, dude. It's just like the awesome and just ridiculousness of wrestling with a bunch of people who are just rowdy as hell. It can't get any better. My agent, well, one of my agents, Brad Slater, he's the Rock's agent. So I've been getting in for free, bro. I need to get yeah, you got that hookup right there. Shout out to the WWE. Hit your boy up because man, it is an experience that I think everybody needs to have, dude.
All right, there we go. I'm about to hit you like CM Punk before WrestleMania and be like, "Hey man, like hope I see you there. Let's link up and then we'll let the rest be history on that one." All right, that'll be cool, man. You did mention, and I did want to hit on this some because Straight Outta Compton came out right when I was getting started at ESPN, and I remember that was one of the first around the time that you and I started interacting on Twitter a little bit. And it was that joke, which you said to me when I reached out to you for this, like, "Hey man, Junior's got to stick together." Like,
gotta stick together, bro.
Well, it's watching what you've gone through since that moment and watching your career develop has been so cool because you really have carved out this incredible space of your own in the industry. And I saw you on Kelly Clarkson, I think, talking about that whole Nepo baby thing that's been real popular. And I know I've had to answer that question for a long time. And I heard your answer for that I thought was really, really poignant about, hey, listen, I'm honoring the work that my dad put in to get here and to get a place where the door could be open for me, but I still had to walk through all this. I'm curious for you because I know it took me a long time sitting at ESPN in the same building where dad's still at, knowing, hey, that's how I got my start. It took me a long time to kind of personally reconcile that in that same way to where that's kind of been my answer. When did you come to that realization for yourself that, hey, this might be how I get an opportunity, but I still control the rest of what happens here, and I'm thankful for that?
I kind of ran before I got to, I would say before I got to, right before I got to college, I kind of ran from that because, growing up as a kid who you're taught so early not to trust people like in my shoes, you're taught so early that like people want to be your friend because of what they think that they can get from being your friend. And like, I wouldn't wish that on a kid's mind anywhere. And so like I for a long time, like for the majority part of my life, I kind of moved any kind of way I could without people finding out. Whether that was, not having uh, people over to the house, or like taking people to Laker games when I know my dad's not going to be there. Just like try, things that like now I look at as ridiculous. But it was a moment when my dad took me on tour. My dad took me on tour to work as crew, and as me and my brother, we had a song with him, and also worked as his hype man for a little bit when I turned 18. And we were in Australia, and this dude in the crowd, after the show is over, me and my brother are out there breaking down the stage, and just like talking to like fans or whatever. And this guy came up to me, and he was like, "Dude, your dad changed my life. Your dad, I used to, be heavy into drugs. I was out on the street. I was doing, just the grimiest things. And your dad, listening to his music, helped me become a doctor." And I'm like,
Wow.
like in my mind, I'm like, my dad probably wrote that shit in the kitchen, not even like, like thinking the magnitude in like whatever you were listening to changed your life to the point where you got off the streets and became a doctor, and then that right there is when I really got it. I got what my dad means to people. And it's just something that your art can do to just inspire. And so like after that, I got it. It wasn't just that my dad's on TV. It's not just that my dad does concerts. It's just he does something to people, and I love that. It made me realize how lucky I am to get lessons from this guy, to you know, even get yelled at by this guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's that he loves me. And so it was just like after then, I was just like, bump that. And once I realized that I was going to have a career in the same footsteps as him, I was gonna have a hard time getting out of the shadow, no matter what. Because not only do I look like him, got the same name, but literally my first job is playing him. Like, it's, and so like I stopped. If I looked at it as a shadow, it would I end up killing myself trying to work out of that. And so I stopped looking at it as a mountain to climb, or shoes to fill, or a shadow to get out of, and looked at it as, listen, I have to make sure the name O'Shea Jackson goes decades past where either of us are. And he's passing me a torch. He's having me help build an empire. This is what it is. It is not getting out of anything. It is adding to a legacy. And that is what made me just like, bro, you damn right. Like, absolutely. And I'm not going to tarnish the name that we share. I refuse. The heaviest two letters in the alphabet next to each other are JR. You put those two next to each other, bro. It is a weight that people just don't get. And like it weighs more when you care more, when you give a damn about it, when it means something to you, it becomes heavier. And it's just like it's gonna make or break you. And I refuse to be broken because he went through way more than I had to, and he's not broken.
It's amazing, man. That's such a healthy view of it, and you're right in that it being grounded in pride in what your dad has done, I think is the thing that I always enjoy explaining to people most. So it's great to hear that echoed, and great to hear your experience is similar. Like you saw firsthand what that did, and it only fueled you more. And clearly, like,
Yeah.
that's all worked. And from there, once you got that feeling of security, you mentioned the first role was playing your dad. What made you want to get into acting to begin with? Was it watching him do it? Was it being around and kind of seeing all the parts? What was the gateway for you?
I went into I was homeschooled probably I was homeschooled from 7th to 11th grade, okay? So I'm already, just like I was talking prior, I'm kind of already alienated from regular schooling in general, but I had these two teachers. And these two teachers, Hernan Del Alde, I love you, Rochelle Nondorf, I love you. They showed me that I was good at writing. Most people in the world don't know what they're good at because it comes so easy to them. They think that they can't make money off of it. They think that like making a job or making a career is supposed to be something hard for you to do, but it really is just what you're good at. And chances are your talent you're not even paying attention to because it just comes so easy to you. You don't even look at it. And I had a teacher, Hernan, he told me one day, because I was a daydreamer, bro. I daydream. I just what it is. And he said, he put a notebook in front of me and he said, write down what you're thinking about because you're not thinking about what I'm talking I was like, all right. So I just started writing, and I had this idea for this story, and I hand wrote 120-page story. And like he was like, have you ever thought of turning this stuff into like a movie script or anything? And I was like, nope. And he was like, that's literally what your dad does. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I'm like, so then I got a teacher, Bill Rubenstein, who taught me how to break things down into scripts. And my teacher, Rochelle, got me a notebook. And on that notebook, it said, go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you've imagined. That is a quote from Henry David Thoreau. And I ran with that quote forever. And I was going to USC as a screenwriter. Like, this is what I was going to do. And in the middle of my second year, I'm in the kitchen probably watching ESPN. And my dad comes and goes, hey, man, so they're taking this NWA movie serious. I'm like, oh, man, that's dope, Dad. He's like, no. Listen, in a perfect world, I will want you to play me. Oh, okay. All right. What do I have to do? He said, well, you're going to audition. I said, please make me audition. Because do not make me make a fool of myself. I had no aspirations or like anything to get into acting, but like I've been around sets my whole life. I know what I get the concept. And so yeah, that was just the move. And I convinced him to let me leave school if I do this. He was like, only if you make it work. And I was like, all right, I'll make it work. I got my teacher, Aaron Spicer, my acting coach, and we worked for 2 years. 2 years straight of getting prepared for Straight Outta Compton until they said yes. The director, the director Gary Gray, when my dad says, "Hey, I want my son to play me," goes, "Cube, is this a joke?"
Wow.
God damn! And so,
Damn.
when I auditioned for the first time, Gary saw something and he was like, all right, and that's how I got hooked up with Aaron. Gary gave me Aaron Spicer, my coach, and he just saw me get there until there was no way the studio or him could say no. And I got it. And from there, in those 2 years, me waiting to get that role, I left during my second year of college. So I'm watching my friends graduate on Instagram, and it killed me. And it was like, dude, if I don't make this work, I'm an idiot. I look like an idiot. So, like, we have no plan B. We have nowhere to go. Like, it is what it is, dude. This has to happen. And so from there, it was just like, I had to take it. I had to make it work. After Straight Outta Compton, I didn't get work for a year because everybody was talking like, Of course he could play his dad. He's been studying him for over 20 years. So it was all that talk throughout Hollywood, and nobody gave me a shot in anything serious. Like the scripts I was getting, I was just I being at USC taught me how to pick apart a script, and I know when it's some trash, bro. So I was not trying to go. And yeah, so I had to really take my career into my hands, and I went the indie route for my second movie. And my pops was like, "Bro, like you just had the number one movie for 3 weeks, and it was nominated for an Oscar. You don't have to go indie." And I was like, "Listen, just trust me. Just let me do what I do." And Ingrid Goes West was the next one, and that's the indie, and that got me into Sundance. And when it got me into Sundance, Variety had me as one of the top 10 at Sundance, and that got people to look like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
Man, that's wild because I remember when that came out. I'm a huge Aubrey Plaza fan, and I remember being a fan of you. So seeing that movie, it was incredible. But I guess no one would ever think that, like, yeah, coming off the success of Straight Outta Compton, that's the movie that actually kind of put you in position to now go on. And then after that, what, Den of Thieves, Long Shot, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
I said you were the best friend that everybody needs in their life in that movie. And then Godzilla King of Monsters. Wow. So all from going the indie route there and just a risk that you knew you had to take.
Yeah. And like, I am for like Matt Spicer, the director, and Aubrey. Like, I'm so thankful. I don't even think they really get how, like, what a part of my heart Ingrid Goes West is, because Straight Outta Compton, once again, that got me in the door. But Ingrid Goes West kind of made a different crowd pay attention to me, where people were like, "Oh, okay, he's really taking it serious. This is what he wants to do." And like, it's those like risks like that I mentioned on the Kelly Clarkson show that Kobe told me something, and I only had one phone call conversation with Kobe. If people don't know the story, one night I was super drunk in my apartment, and I felt kind of stale in my career. And I was like, you know what? Kobe follows me. I'm a DM Kobe. Super drunk. I'm like, I'm a DM Kobe. I'm going to ask my hero for help. And so I still got it to this day. But I asked him, I was like, bro, is there any quotes, any movies, any books, anything that you use to kind of fuel your fire to keep you going? You accomplish so much. How do you keep yourself going up? And he sent me his number. And so, like, for days, I'm waiting for Kobe to text me, like, oh my God. And yeah, he finally called me, and he called me, and we talked for 25 minutes. And in that conversation, he said, I told him about, how I kind of felt stagnant at the time. And he was like, you got to take risks. And he was in the same position as me, as going in his father's footsteps. And he was like, dude, you have to know that your parents are never going to want you to go through anything. They're never going to want you to take bumps. They're never going to want you to like fall, but it's the only way sometimes, And I know I'm sure junior to junior, those type of situations happen. Like there were times where on Den of Thieves, they wouldn't use me. Like they get me at work, and like I'll be at work for like 11 hours, and they were like, "Sorry, Shay, we didn't get to you today." And I called my dad, and I was like, "Is that normal?" He was like, "No, just leave." I'm like, what you mean, just leave? I'm like, bro, just leave. That's what I would do. Yeah, Dad, but like you're you, and like, I had to tell him, like, Dad, you don't know what it's like to be your son. Okay? I gotta do shit a certain way. I gotta move a certain way because they already have this ideology of what I'm gonna act like. And I gotta show them that I'm here for the grind. I can't be disrespected, but at the same time, I can't be this entitled prick who's like, yo, yeah, I'm going to LA. It's just not, it's certain battles, And so yeah, it's really a give and take thing, man. But luckily, taking those risks, making sure I tell my team that, make sure that every role is different from the last. I jump genres, bro. I jump genres real nice. And it's so they can't box me in. They cannot tell me what I can't do. And it makes it hard for them to place me in a box.
It really is. Looking through your filmography, looking through the TV shows you've been a part of, it is all over the map. So that shows up and is awesome to know that that's a concerted effort for you. I mean, I don't want to take away from you basking in the glow of Cocaine Bear right now. It's well earned, it's well deserved. Everybody's going to have a great time going to see it. But is there, like you mentioned, you're a daydreamer? Is there something that you've got a dream in your head of, all right, as I'm going around and I'm showing people all these different things I can do, is there something you've got coming up where you're like, man, I really want to do this? This would be the next step that for me would be exactly what I've been looking for and daydreaming about.
I want to get back into writing and just get my producer creds up. I got a 5-year-old. I got my baby girl is going into school now, and I can't. I just can't. I love acting. I love what I'm doing. It's such a fun job, but I just can't. If I do 2 projects in a year, and it's rare for anything to film in LA, that's 5 to 6 months out the year. And I just can't be away from home while my baby girl is going through this stage of her life, going into the outside world now. It was different when I know she's just at the house, like just kicking it with her grandparents all day. Like it's different now. And I want to be home to make sure she feels her dad so she can feel me there. And so I've been really focused on putting together my own projects to kind of have seeds planted out there, and have checks coming in that don't take me away from home. Right now, I think the number one thing right now is I've been working with my writing partner, Chris Mir Jahangir, for the last 5 years on a Godzilla anime. Yeah, and it's like, it takes elements of King of the Monsters, and we add on to it, and we bring Godzilla kind of to obviously Godzilla's already on a giant scale, but the way that we bring in the human aspect, we don't think that we've seen in a show before. It's something that me and him discussed while I was on the set of King of the Monsters, of what we felt like as Godzilla fans we never got to see. And when you deal with anime, you kind of have more to play with. Like there's just certain things that you can do in anime that, first of all, less expensive than to do in live action. But like it's just those who follow the anime lifestyle, it's just you're instantly believing whatever you get put in front of, and it's a real passion project. And when you've been working on something for 5 years, it's your baby. And we have a multi-season plan. I'm about to start shopping it around. I've been getting buzz on the internet from it. I wore our logo on the James Corden show and on the Today Show, and like we have no deal yet. We just put it out there because we want to get these suits. We got to shake it up a little bit. We're not here to politic and pussyfoot around. We want to get this done, and the fan support has been so great. So that's my number one thing. Number two, I've got about three movies that I'm going around pitching. One is based around the Globetrotters. I can't go into full detail, but I got some funny stuff lined up, man. So I want to get back into the creative side of it. Obviously, those roles that you can't say no to, I'm always going to go back to. We're getting ready for Gin and Thieves 2. I leave to film that in about a month. So obviously, that's my first franchise. So whenever that phone rings, I gotta pick that up. I gotta Tom Cruise this thing, and obviously Swagger. Whenever Swagger calls, I go back to that.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, you got a fan rooting for G Team and all that to take off as a fellow
Yeah.
anime guy here. I'm rooting hard for this now. And just for you in general, man, it's awesome to see you succeeding as much as you have. It's awesome to hear about all that stuff that you got coming down the pipeline. Everybody, make sure you check out Cocaine Bear this weekend. It is going to be an absolute roller coaster ride. I'm excited to check it out. I can't wait. O'Shea, appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Junior to junior, bro. Whenever you need me, just hit me.
There it is, man. Juniors got to take care of each other. Amen.
Yeah, man.